Let's see if I can make this without being eaten alive by mosquitoes. It's really, really buggy, but I'm outside not just because it's a beautiful day, but because I got a kiddo in the studio bar and he's downstairs watching TV, and I just thought it was too loud for making a video, but it's really buggy. It's really, really buggy. Welcome back to my channel. It's Sam from thesamanthawild.com. I'm going to talk today about making art from the heart of your inner child who possesses that genius of creativity. It was Picasso, you probably read or heard this quote, who said that it took him a lifetime to make art like a child. That's not the exact quote, but he's talking about something else before that, and he references that it's basically took him his whole lifetime to make art like a child, and that's the aspiration, is that we create like children. Well, I have 6 children, some of you may know that, and they teach me about art all the time. But what children do with their art that I don't see adults do with their art is they create really, really spontaneously with a very deep intuitive sense. And I think what happens to us as we get older is that, sorry, the bugs, is that it kind of slowly gets eroded. It gets taken away from us, but I should rephrase that. It slowly gets maybe hidden is a better way to describe it, muffled, because it's not that it doesn't still exist, but it takes some work to get back to that place where we are creating really naturally, really spontaneously, really intuitively. I'm really happy that you're here with me. Mwah! Big thank you to my new and my old subscribers. Don't forget thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I'm here with inspiration for your creativity. I am a sustainable art weaver, a mother of 6 kiddos, among many other things. Talking on this channel a lot about art and healing, and how creating art heals us, and also when we're creating sustainably, it's part of the healing of the world and the planet. I've been working on a piece that I'll share with you. It's still on my little loom here, and I think this is a perfect example. A truck just went by. I think this is a perfect example for me of creating art from the heart of my inner child, the genius of my inner child. And I keep making that distinction because we do have inner children who have been harmed, they've been hurt, they've been wounded, and and that part of us can make art. But I'm really talking about making art from the genius child, that part of us that not only has gone through difficult things, but has also created amazing abilities to be resilient, to see things, to operate inside of an imperfect world and still see the wonder, right? This is not a cynical inner child. This is an amazing, eyes wide open inner child. So I've been working on this piece, and the background is woven. I'm weaving on top of it. And what's really lovely to me is that I didn't know what I was going to do. I actually put the warp on thinking I might do a nighttime piece, like a star and moon piece. And then I decided I'd make one of my little flowers. I've been making a lot of little flower pieces. And then I just started to find, as I often do, the yarn and the materials talking to me. Now I'm going to tell you a little true confession, and I'm sure this is something that you've all experienced in your own lives. Once I was really getting into it, I looked at it, I said, oh my gosh, it looks like a child made this. And the voice that said that was actually an inner critic. And I know everyone has an inner critic, so this is not sort of a very unique revelation, but that inner critic talking to me was like, oh, a child could have made that. But then I realized it was actually a compliment, and I accepted that compliment, and I thought, yes, that's what I'm going for, is spontaneous, organic, beautiful, drawn to the different colors. And this is called Sunrise, Morning Sunrise in the Garden, I think I'm going to call it. I love the little clouds, the puffiness there, little bits of fiber coming out. And I think it was William Wordsworth who said we come trailing clouds of glory from God, who is our home, something like that. I was thinking about that line here, trailing the clouds of glory, while I was making these things. The most important part, and I've talked about this in other videos, for us when we're getting in touch with our intuitive, organic, natural, spontaneous, creative self, is that we get out of the way of self-judgment and self-criticism. Easier said than done, 100% of the time. And it means doing things like when we're writing, sometimes I'll say to people, oh, if you want to really write from that part of you, write with your left hand, write with your non-dominant hand if you're right-handed, or vice versa if you're left-handed, and get yourself into that space. You can also do some meditating or nature walking, or do practices that bring you a little bit closer to that part of yourself. You can do your creative work when you're more tender, more open, more heart open. Sometimes even being sadder can help. But part of the practice is to recognize that you have this genius inner child inside of yourself, and to begin to appreciate an aesthetic in your own creating that doesn't look like what you think it should look like or what other people's things look like. I find 90% of the time to 99% of the time that I'll make something and go, well, I've never seen anything like this before. In fact, I just did a commission. I wove a piece and we were looking at it, and someone who was looking at it said, but I've never seen anything that did this sort of thing before. And we want to be open to that, because it's the adult self that is trying to fit in, or the junior high or high school self, right? Who's trying to fit in, who's trying to make art that would be acceptable to other people, that looks like what other people. And that's the part of us that doesn't want to be different than the others. But art, by its very nature, wants to be different than the others. I mean, you could see the natural beauty all around me. Those are blueberry trees over there, blueberry bushes. Every single one of them is different. Every single tree here is different. Every single beautiful expression of nature is expressing its own unique footprint, fingerprint, when you think about snowflakes. And that's our job too. And when we do that and we're in touch, this is what I'm going to do for the bugs, then we're going to create spontaneously. And you know what? It could bring up feelings of self-judgment and criticism. We could go, oh, I bet a child could have done that. That doesn't look very sophisticated. That doesn't look very, that doesn't look like anything an art gallery would want. Or whatever statements we might find. We can then work with those ideas. Because the goal here, right, unless you really just want to make art like AI can make art, or you want to make art just like somebody else, the goal in creating is self-expression. And in self-expression, there is so much healing, and there is the possibility then of finding our original art voice, our true native art voice. And that's the one that has perfect flow. And by that, I just mean it's like a fount that's always flowing. I don't mean it's somehow perfect. I just mean it's constantly moving. So the way that people deal with, artist block or writer's block and so on, when we're in that flow, we can go constantly to it. It will always give us something. It might give us, it's like the seasons. We might get winter, might get spring, might get summer, might get fall, but we're always going to be getting some kind of weather. So what do you think about that? What do you think about getting in touch with that genius child who lives inside of you and who does really create spontaneously? I mean, my children do this all the time. Spontaneously, creatively. The younger they are, the less censorship and judgment they have, the more they really are in love with their own pieces and interested in what's coming out and relating and seeing them and learning from them. And that's the process that we can all be in. So I'm really delighted that you stopped into the channel today. I am hoping to be more consistently sharing on Fridays and with some of my shorts. Please do give the thumbs up and please subscribe. It really matters. My goal right now is 1,000 subscribers. I can't wait. If you don't know who I am or what I do, head on over to thesamanthawild.com. I have a lot of things in my weaving shop right now that are beautiful and colorful and meaningful. And I hope you have a truly creative day.